So where has the time gone, I say to myself as I stand here, exactly a year since the last time I stood here, and looking around, most of you have not changed that much, and a few of you have changed quite a lot. I don't know for better or not. But anyhow, it's nice to be back, and I always feel very, very welcome when I come back here, and you certainly go out of your way to make me feel such. So now, a man goes into a bar, and he sees a friend of his there, looking absolutely miserable. And he says to him, "You look terrible, what's wrong?" And the guy says to him, "Well, in May, my mother died and left me $50,000. And then in June, my father died and he left me $100,000. "Oh, how sad," said his friend. "You lost both of your parents in such a short time." "Yes," he said, and then my favorite aunt, she died last month, and she left me $75,000. "How sad," said his friend. "Well, you might say so," he said. "This month, not a penny." Now, that might sound funny, but I don't know if it happens here or not. But when somebody dies in Ireland, the very first question they ask is, "How much did he leave?" Seriously, how much did he leave? Now, the truthful answer to that is he left nothing. He was taken away from it. But the best answer, when you die and somebody says, "How much did he leave?" the best answer would be a large debt on his credit card. That's the best way of all to die. Now, I want to ask you a question, and it's based on the question, being serious for a moment, on the question that Peter asked. Is this parable meant for us, Lord, or for everyone? When you listen to a reading from the Gospel, and a good way of approaching it is to ask yourself, in the Gospel this morning, what is Jesus saying to me, and how does that make me feel? What is Jesus saying to me in the Gospel this morning, and how does that make me feel? Sell your possessions and give them to the poor. Do not store up treasure for yourself. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be. What is Jesus saying to me this morning in the reading from the Gospel, and how does that make me feel? Now, I always think I have to be very, very, very honest and very truthful when I stand here. And there are many aspects of the Gospel that I could have taken this morning and would be more comfortable for me, if that makes sense. I don't know if you are aware how have you ever heard a homily or a sermon on the 10th commandment? Do you even know what the 10th commandment is? Pardon?
We should love the Lord our God with all our heart and soul.
That's the 10th commandment. Well, you're wrong. You're wrong. Oh, you are. Oh, yes, you are. No. Pardon?
If we love Him first, we can love all.
Yes. But the question is, what is the 10th commandment? Yeah. See. Now, but thank you for sharing, and I mean that. Now, I've asked what is the 10th commandment. What is the 6th commandment? You all know that one, don't you? What? Pardon? Pardon? No, you're way out. Yeah, yeah. What is the 6th commandment? Good girl. Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. But I think somebody whispered. Yeah. And that's cheating. Yeah. The 11th commandment: thou shalt not cheat. Stop. Oh my God, stop. We have to get back on track here somehow. No, seriously. I asked you that question, and it's a good way to approach the gospel. What is Jesus saying to me, and how does that make me feel? So I have to look at my attitude to money, and I think you have to look at your attitude to money also. I would find it very difficult to say, I am greedy, and I think most people would. But let's be absolutely truthful. How important is money in my life? How important is money in your life? Now, money is important from the point of view we need a certain amount. But it gets to a stage where a lot of people are never satisfied with what they have. And that's the point Jesus is making in the gospel this morning. He said, strictly speaking, you have everything you need because I love you. God loves you. And he brings in there the whole idea of faith and trust. Now, every day of my life, part of my morning prayer, I ask the Lord for healing. Not physical healing, but healing of the spirit. So healing, I ask you, Lord, to heal me from selfishness, from my attachments. Think of how attached we are to certain things. My attachments, my insecurities. Do you ever feel insecure? I often feel very insecure. So if I feel insecure, how can I say, I trust in the Lord? I really trust. And so I also, every day, I pray that the Lord will give me an absolute trust in Him. Have I received that yet? It's a struggle. I probably never will have that as long as I live. There will always be in my mind, in my feeling, a feeling of insecurity. And recently, the Lord gave me, I felt He spoke to me and gave me two very important messages, if you put it that way. And the two of them were that I have not got a single solitary thing that I can call my own. Everything I have is a pure gift from God. I don't have a thing that I can say, I earned that. And that's something that applies to everybody. So I haven't got a single solitary thing that I can call my own. Everything is a pure gift from the Lord. And number two, I find the whole idea of trust very difficult, trust in God. And I'm sure if you're honest with yourselves, you find that difficult too, to trust. And very strongly came the question to me recently, very strong was, have I ever let you down yet? Now, each one of you, for a moment, look back on your life and ask yourself that question. Up to this moment in time, has God ever let you down? And I think the answer is no. I can honestly say that in the most difficult times and in the biggest difficulties I've had to face in life and the biggest problems I've had to deal with, somehow or other, no, not somehow or other, but God got me through. He has never yet let me down. So why don't I trust Him absolutely? Why am I worried about the future? Why am I worried about what happens when I get old? Well, I am old, but why am I so worried about tomorrow or next week? Why am I so worried about what happens if I get sick or if I get cancer or something else happens to me? Why am I so worried about what will happen when my wife dies or my husband dies? How will I cope? You will, and I will, because God never lets us down, and that's the real message. So don't place your trust in anything else but in the Lord. That's very, very important. And finally, be very careful what you ask for. Yep. And to finish off on that point, I have a little story. There's a man walking along a beach one day, and he suddenly sees a bottle floating in the water, and he picks up the bottle and he unscrews the cap, and out hops a little genie. And the little genie says, "You lucky man, I can give you 3 wishes. What would you like? What's your first wish?" And the guy says, "I've always wanted to have $10 million in a bank account." And there was a flash of lightning, and he had a checkbook in his hand and an account number for $10 million in a Swiss bank. "What else would you like?" And the guy says, "Well, I've always wanted to have a brand new red Lamborghini car." And in a flash, there was this beautiful red Lamborghini car in front of him. "You have one more wish left. What is your third wish?" The fellow says, "I've always wanted to be irresistible to women." There goes the money. No. Quick. That's quick. He says, "I've always wanted to be irresistible to women." And it was an almighty flash, and he turned into a box of chocolates. So let's stand.